There's a right way to build an airport, and then there's this. This is Gwadar International Airport in Pakistan's Balochistan province. It's huge, it's modern, and it was supposed to be a game-changing piece of infrastructure. A 12,000 feet of runway, a brand new terminal, enough room for the world's biggest aircraft. All of it built with one goal in mind, to turn Gwadar into a global gateway. But here's the problem. There are no passengers, no flights, no crowds, not even a line at the check-in counter. Just a shiny terminal sitting in the middle of nowhere, waiting for something to happen. It's not the first time a country has made this kind of bet. Spain spent over $1 billion on an airport which barely lasted a few years. Sri Lanka built one so empty it earned the nickname the world's emptiest airport. And now Pakistan might be heading down the same road. So why spend hundreds of millions of dollars building an airport in the middle of nowhere? What was the plan? And why isn't it working? Let's break it down. This is the new Gwadar International Airport, located in Balochistan, near the shores of the Arabian Sea. It's not a small project. This thing cost around $230 million to build. Most of the funding came from China through the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC, a multi-billion-dollar initiative aimed at transforming Pakistan's infrastructure. The airport covers 4,300 acres, making it one of the largest in the country. Its runway is long enough to handle A380s, the world's largest passenger planes. The terminal can process millions of passengers each year, with separate areas for international and domestic travelers. On paper, it's built to rival Karachi and Lahore. Construction began in 2019, and the official inauguration took place in 2024. It was supposed to mark a turning point for Gwadar, helping turn a small fishing town into a global port city. But the reality on the ground looks very different. Gwadar sits in the southwestern corner of Pakistan, right on the edge of the Arabian Sea, about 600 kilometers from Karachi and just a short hop across the water from Oman and the UAE. For years, Pakistan and China have pitched Gwadar as a future trade and logistics hub, the kind of place where oil, goods, and cargo could flow in and out of Central Asia, bypassing longer sea routes. And this airport, it was meant to support that vision. The idea was simple: build a high-capacity airport next to a strategic deep seaport, and then use both to fuel a wave of investment, tourism, and trade. To understand why this airport exists, you have to look at something bigger: the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC. It's a massive infrastructure plan that connects Western China to the Arabian Sea, right through Pakistan. Roads, railways, ports, power plants, all built to create a new trade route that skips the long sea journey around Southeast Asia. That includes more than $60 billion worth of infrastructure projects. Gwadar, both the port and the city, is supposed to be the centerpiece of it all. So, why is China investing this much money in Pakistan to begin with? The short answer is access. China's western provinces are landlocked and far from the country's main shipping ports. Most of China's trade moves by sea, through the South China Sea past Taiwan, then around Southeast Asia, through the Strait of Malacca, and finally to the Middle East or Europe. It's a long route, over 12,000 kilometers in some cases, and one that runs through some of the most heavily watched and contested waters in the world. But with a direct route through Pakistan, Chinese goods could be transported overland through Xinjiang, enter Pakistan through Gilgit-Baltistan, move south via new motorways, and exit from Gwadar. It's shorter, safer, and gives China more control over its trade. For Pakistan, it's a chance to modernize its infrastructure with foreign funding. For China, it's a way to secure long-term access to global markets, which is why China's willing to spend billions up front, even if the returns don't come right away. And this airport, it was designed to plug into that system. It's not just about flying people in and out. It was supposed to handle air cargo, support logistics companies, bring in Chinese engineers and investors, and connect Gwadar to other economic zones being built under CPEC. CPEC also came with big promises. It was supposed to bring investment, jobs, and long-term growth, but nearly a decade later, much of that still hasn't happened. While some roads and power plants have been completed, many major projects, including industrial parks, rail links, and housing, are behind schedule or on hold. Security concerns, land disputes, financing delays, all of that has slowed things down, and that's left the airport in limbo. It's built, it's functional, but but without the rest of the system running, it doesn't have a purpose yet. So what we're seeing here is not just an empty airport. It's a snapshot of what happens when you build one piece of a much larger puzzle, and the rest of the pieces are still missing. On paper, it sounds like a smart long-term play. An airport here could link Pakistan to global markets, attract airlines, create jobs, and anchor Gwadar as the centerpiece of CPEC. But here's the thing, location alone is not enough. You can build the runway, you can put up the terminals, but if no one's flying in or out, it doesn't matter. In terms of infrastructure, this airport checks every box. The runway is 12,000 feet long, making it capable of handling any commercial aircraft, from Boeing 737s to Airbus A380s. The terminal building is fully equipped with passenger lounges, customs facilities, baggage handling systems, and even solar power support. It's built to international standards and designed to handle up to 1 million passengers annually. It also has an advanced air traffic control tower, backup generators, and a separate firefighting station. The idea was to build not just a local airport, but a regional gateway, ready for both commercial airlines and cargo shipments. There's even land allocated nearby for aeronautical and logistics businesses in the hope that it would spark industrial growth around the site. On paper, everything looks ready, but airports aren't built to impress engineers. They're built to move people, and that's where the problems begin. For all its modern features, the airport has one glaring issue. It's barely being used. There are almost no scheduled flights. Airlines aren't rushing to add routes. In some weeks, the number of arrivals can be counted on one hand. And passengers? Hardly any. The terminal halls sit empty. The check-in counters are quiet. You might see a security guard or two, but that's about it. Pakistan International Airlines did operate some domestic flights in the past, but those were few and far between, and they were often canceled due to low demand. There's no real commercial activity here. No tourist arrivals, no international travelers, no business groups flying in. Even the basic airport services, like transport to and from the city, are minimal. Taxis are rare. Hotels nearby are almost non-existent. So the question is simple. Why isn't anyone flying here? And the answer lies in everything that's missing around the airport. There are a few reasons this airport is not seeing traffic, and none of them have to do with the airport itself. Gwadar's population is around 90,000 people, smaller than many neighborhoods in Karachi or Lahore. Most of them don't fly regularly, and there aren't enough residents to justify frequent flights. You can build an international airport, but if there's no one to use it, it stays empty. For an airport to thrive, it needs everything around it to work: roads, transport, hotels, businesses. But Gwadar still feels unfinished. There are not enough hotels to support tourism. Public transport is almost non-existent. Even basic services like restaurants and shopping centers are limited. Balochistan has a long history of instability. Attacks on infrastructure projects, clashes with separatist groups, and general unrest make investors nervous, and airlines even more so. When safety is uncertain, it's hard to attract flights, tourists, or foreign businesses. Some call it a failure. Others say it's just early. The airport was meant to be part of a massive transformation, one that would turn Gwadar into a busy port city with highways, factories, and a booming economy. But more than a decade after the first CPEC announcements, that vision is still mostly on paper. Yes, the port exists. Yes, the roads are being built, but they haven't brought the economic flood that was promised. Some call the airport a white elephant, a flashy project that looks good in reports but doesn't actually serve its purpose. It cost hundreds of millions, but there's no clear return on that investment yet. Others argue it's a smart long-term move. Their point is this: infrastructure always comes first. You don't wait for demand and then start building. By the time demand shows up, it's too late. You build early and wait. And that's what supporters believe is happening here. They say the airport will eventually serve trade, tourism, and investment. But that raises another question. How long is the wait supposed to be? Even when an airport is empty, it's not cheap. Every month, thousands of dollars go into maintenance, security, electricity, and staffing. Runways have to be kept in working condition. Equipment needs regular checks. Systems have to stay online, even if no flights are scheduled. And it doesn't stop there. The government is also spending money to keep the supporting infrastructure alive. Roads, checkpoints, and services, all for an airport that barely operates. This means one thing: the longer it sits underused, the more expensive it becomes. There's also the opportunity cost. That $230 million could have gone into hospitals, schools, or fixing Pakistan's crumbling existing airports. Instead, it was spent on a facility that's functioning more like a trophy than a transport hub. And this isn't just a local issue. Pakistan already struggles with debt and budget deficits. Projects like this, with no immediate return, add pressure to an already fragile economy. However, this is not the first time a country has built an airport that no one's using. Take Ciudad Real Airport in Spain, built for over $1 billion with capacity for 2 million passengers a year. It ended up serving just a few hundred people a week before shutting down and being auctioned off for a fraction of its cost. In China, dozens of so-called ghost airports were constructed during the infrastructure boom. Some of them eventually picked up traffic. Others didn't. Sri Lanka's